is mentioned is between Stony Island and Calf Island. This is an example of choosing an obviously poor route and then arguing against it. All the arguments are correct. It may require horizontal direction drilling, there may be bedrock in the path, and sediment for cover may not be adequate. The only slight argument in favor is that this is a shorter path than around Stony Island. For a truly specious argument, consider 3.7, the no action alternate, described thusly in the pertinent phrases. The alternate course of taking no action and building no new transmission lines was considered. Really? The proposed wind power generating facility is located on an island in Lake Ontario. The no-action alternate would render the proposed wind farm economically infeasible. Hence, the no alternate action was dropped from consideration. I suspect that butter would not melt in the mouth of the person who wrote this. But they satisfied Public Service Law 122(1)E and 16 NYCRR Section 86.4A3. I submit that not only would the project be economically infeasible, it might be technically challenging without a transmission line. The tail does not wag the dog. Okay, finally I want to discuss the Watertown interconnect opportunities, which are the Coffeen Street 115 kV substation and the East Watertown 115 kV substation. I will refer to these collectively as Coffeen Street because they're both in the Watertown area. They are in Zone E of the New York Independent System Operator and connect to a NYPA 345 kV line. Note that the Edith Fitzpatrick substation falls within Zone C. Now the application states, a New York System Independent Operator's preliminary study of Zones D and E found the potential for transmission limitations due to concentration of wind projects in specific locations, and based on megawatts and location of wind generation in the queue, lack of transmission may restrict future energy deliveries from wind plants in various localities, especially zones D and E. The application words continue now. That was a quote from the independent system operator. It was concluded that routing opportunities relying on Zone E interconnections would lack sufficient electrical capacity for the Galoo Island interconnection. An assumption of high incremental cost to the project in order to upgrade facilities in Zone E to accommodate the interconnection led to the elimination of these Zone E opportunities. Now the cryptic phrases here are concentration of wind projects and location of wind generation in the queue. So what exactly is being said here? Does this mean that Coffeen Street is reserved for other future North Country wind projects? Since it would certainly be geographically closer. Or does this simply say that there will be choke points in the future? It most certainly does not say upgrades are ruled out. But this is used as the argument to eliminate a Coffeen Street interconnect. What is also conspicuously missing is a realistic cost comparison between the Coffeen Street interconnect, which is the shortest route, and the proposed route southward. In quotes, an assumption of high incremental cost is not a substitute for evaluating the actual cost of hanging modern cable and insulators to upgrade the Coffeen Street facilities on their way to the regional grid. The blitheness with which Coffeen Street is dismissed is astounding. Here's another example of decision-making taken from 3.14.1.3. This route provided an interconnection to the regional power grid that avoided Douglaston Manor Incorporated property and avoided the densely settled area of the village of Pulaski in the town of Richland, Oswego County, New York. Discussions with landowners along this alternate route indicated that there was opposition to the location of structures in certain areas, and therefore this route was abandoned from further consideration. My colleagues in the town of Henderson would certainly like to enjoy the same spirit of comedy. So in conclusion, I contend that the evaluation of alternate routes has been superficial, illogical, and without substantive analysis. Arm-waving arguments are not a substitute for making careful, well-reasoned choices. I urge the Public Service Commission to pull out a fresh sheet of paper.
Thank you, sir.